David Crean, yeah, writes, did you ever meet any Star Trek writers while working in LA? Do you have any favorites? And it's funny, because I, I looked at that question. I was thinking about it for 10 seconds, and I thought, well, of course I haven't met any Star Trek writers. David, the show went off the air in 1967, 68, 68, I think. How could I have known writers when the show went off the air in 68? And then I realized, oh, wait, there were some other shows that came afterwards. No, I haven't met any Star Trek writers. I've met a few writers that I admire. I had a chance to sit and talk with David Mamet. That was fun, especially as a theater major for you, because he's the best writer living, and just a huge fan. So that was a real kick. I don't get to meet too many writers, and the thing about writers is writers are not. It's not like, oh my God, that's the guy who wrote the Star Trek episode. So 69. That's right. It was 66 through 69. It was Lost in Space that was 65 through 67, I think. I don't know too many writers, or if I have met them, I was not aware of it. And by the way, Hemingway, I think it was Hemingway, was talking about Mark Twain, and he said that the idea that a person who would be a writer would also be able to be a performer and a presenter, an entertainer, a lecturer, somebody on stage. Hemingway said he couldn't comprehend it. He said he thought that the two personalities were 180 degrees apart from each other, and that having a writer who was good on stage was just unimaginable to Hemingway. I have no reason for bringing that up. But I have met a lot of celebrities, and I've had a chance to meet a lot of celebrities who are on the team, and that's especially fun. It's incredible to have, to discover, I mean, it's not just incredible, it's just simply mind-boggling to have, to find out that Mike Rowe and Robert Duvall and John Malkovich are fans of yours. It's just enough to just knock you over. I never get tired of it. I never get tired of it when people come up to me in the airport and say hi. I never get tired of it. It still blows my mind. And Mike Rowe, yes, exactly, among many others. So I haven't met any Star Trek writers. Every day that goes by, I mean, I haven't watched network TV in many, many, many years. Many years. I'm not saying that to brag. It's not like I'm so busy reading my Chaucer by the fireside. It's just that I haven't watched network TV in a long, long, long time. I watch an awful lot of video every day, and I pretty much exclusively watch YouTube because I just love. I love user content. I mean, the series with Awaken with JP that I was talking about earlier. That's hilarious, it's brilliant, and there's a number of people out there that are just brilliant. I just found another channel called The History Guy, I think, and he basically just looks at these odd little forgotten things in history. 7 or 8 minutes on, the Halifax explosion or something like that, and yes, it's true, Eric. I can't believe it either. It's absolutely true. At least he was 10 years ago when I met him. It is. I will tell you that living in LA is kind of cool because you will just stumble upon people. Natasha and I went out to something in Malibu. It was an interview we did with Dave Rubin on Whiskey Politics, and we were out there until the sun went down, got dark, and we went out for some dinner at this really shishy little Italian restaurant, real small little place down in Malibu. And I remember just looking up from my salad, and I thought, that guy looks familiar to me. Oh, that's James Cameron, and that's Robert Rodriguez. How about that? Probably they were working on Alita. I don't know how that did at the box office, but it certainly. I I don't see a lot of Alita fan fiction out there, and I don't know. Have I ever met Chris Pratt? No, I have not met Chris Pratt or Amy Adams. I have met Clint Eastwood on several occasions, and when Clint Eastwood, I got him a copy of my book first time I met him in a small meeting, and I ran down to the car, ran back up, and I said, Clint, this is, I'm sure, something you can use to, stop a table from wobbling or something, but I just want to hand it to you because I love your work so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Okay, he takes it, and then I don't know, a month or two later, I'm standing in line at a event. I'm at the bar, waiting to get a drink, and I turn around and there's Clint, and I say, hey, how's it going? And I really liked your book. I don't know if he read it. I suspect he didn't, but in any event, yeah, it's a mind blowing experience. Now, we. This is, I think, something to the credit of, well, I don't know if I want to say to the credit, but let's put it this way. I've worked in show business since I was in college. So that's quite a while, 40 years almost. And working in show business, you get drummed into your head. It's not taught to you or anything. It's just something you observe. And that is that people in show business have a certain kind of a protocol when dealing with celebrities. And usually that protocol consists of not saying a word and pretending that you didn't see him. And that's usually what happens with me. I certainly didn't go up to James Cameron or Robert Rodriguez. But sometimes you'll meet people who mean so much to you. And Billy Mooney was the case I mentioned, I think, a week or two ago. Bill Mooney, I saw him. It was as far away from me as this camera was. He was eating lunch. And I think I told you about how I went up and said hi to him and told his son that his dad really changed my life and a lot of other lives too. But just the other night, what was it about? It's so hard not having Natasha here to give me the answers to things. Honey, when were we at Little Tony's? Was that, so is that maybe Sunday night? She's not here. I'm just pretending. But we were going into Little Tony's restaurant pretty late. It's open till 1. It's a really great pizza place, Italian restaurant. And I'm walking in, and as I'm walking past the light, I see this guy who. This is the thing about celebrities. You see them. You're pretty sure it's them. Some people you just, there's no question about. But most of the time it's like, God, that looks an awful lot like. And this guy was outside the restaurant. He was standing up against the light post, and I looked at him as I went by. And he looked at me, and then I kept walking. And I've had that look before, not as many times as he has, but I had that look before where people are looking at you. You're in a restaurant or something, and people are like looking at you. They just like, do I know? So anyway, I walk past the guy. I get to the door. It's probably 5, 6, 7 steps, something like that. And I'm just saying, no, just let it go. And then I just had this desire to not. So I just as I got to the door, I turned around and he was maybe, I don't know, 20 feet away from me, something like that. And I said, I'm sorry, excuse me, are you Fred Willard? Are you Fred Willard? And he says, yes, I am. And I said, I just wanted to tell you, sir, you're a comedy genius. I think you've been making me laugh since Fernwood Tonight. I think you're just really brilliant, and I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate it. And he said, well, Fernwood Tonight, well, you got a good memory. So there you go. Next thing you know, I'm just like, that was Fred Willard. And then I went back afterwards. That's why I never watched network TV and why I watched a lot of YouTube. Went back to YouTube and watched a couple of episodes of Fernwood Tonight. And Fred Willard is a comedy genius. He's the best in the world at what he does. And what he does is he plays the idiot, and I mean idiot, who's so confident and sure of himself. When you listen to him doing the narration in Best of Show, the movie about the dog show competition, when you watch him making these comments, and he's just so thick, he's so incredibly dim, and it's not even dim, it's like, clueless is the word, clueless. And And so for the rest of the night, I'm sitting there going, that was Fred Willard. That was cool. And that will happen to you anywhere. Car wash, anywhere. People have to go out and eat here, and in on the other side of the hill, because we're Valley Commandos, but on the other side of the hill, it's more common. I was at an where was I? It was, I want to say it was I actually don't remember. I want to say it was an optometrist's office. But it was a medical office. I remember that. And I was in there for a while, and it was not a place I've ever been before since. I had to go in for some kind of test for something. This is 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm sitting there, and I take a seat. You know how it is in doctors' waiting rooms. They're so close to each other. There's only one seat open. So I sit down, and sitting right next to me is this very tall, dark-haired young woman. And just without even, I didn't have to glance over there. I just thought, well, that's Sarah Silverman. And okay, it's like clash of the force fields. I had the same feeling when I saw Janine Garofalo before I was doing the PJTV stuff. I was in Aspen covering the Aspen Comedy Festival for my previous employer for Sunday Morning Shootout, and then I walk into this lobby, and they're running a live radio show for Air America, the left-wing talk network. And I'm 3 feet away from Janine Garofalo. And she's going, this is before I started doing, after Eject, but before PJTV. And she is one of the most repugnant people out there today. And she's really just she's just a vile person. She got a very unique voice. Sarah Silverman actually made me laugh out loud because she was on Sunday Morning Shootout, and I was the editor, so I see everything, the cameras are rolling, before and after the conversations start. And she was there on set. And I think there was somebody else it was like a little small panel, 2 or 3 guests or something. And either she was telling the story or this happened in real time. I suspect she was telling the story. But she said somebody, because she makes all kinds of jokes about everybody, and this black guy came up to her, kind of half joking and kind of not, and said, "Hey Sarah, what is it you have against black people?" And she said, "Have you ever met one?" I did not accidentally summon you. What is going on here with this? I don't like you just. I don't know what the hell's going on. My phone's being controlled by remote control. And I just laughed at that. I thought that was funny. And but most of the time she's just shocked. She's just trying to shock you. It's just this kind of meta comedy where it's just like regular comedy, only it's not funny. And anyway, it is a strange thing, and it's strange because now I get to some very much smaller degree, I get to be on the other side of this. And this is what's going on right now. Some of you, for reasons unknown to me or anybody else for that matter, and undoubtedly suffering from some form of mental disorder, but there's some people who've watched pretty much all of these Stratosphere Lounge shows. There's over 200 of them now. And they're 2 or 3 hours each. And I talk to you as if I'm looking at you. And I've met a number of you, and when I talk into the camera, I visualize those faces, and then I think about, I've met Foghorn and Times Judge or Matt Lloyd, whatever he goes by, and I think about those people who I've actually met. Then I immediately stop thinking about that because that's give you the willies. And then anyway, and then I meet people, and and I understand the dynamic, and I love it. I think it's great. But people come up to me and and talk as if we know each other. And for me, and this is what's different for me, on celebrity, an actor, take Ted Danson just as an example. So Ted Danson is on Cheers, and Ted Danson is in your living room for 10 years. You see him every week. You've seen all the jokes. So when you see Ted Danson, you feel like you know Ted Danson, and you just want to go up to him and say hi. We've spent a lot of time together. Not in a fan kind of way, like I know everything about you. Just kind of like, oh, it's Ted. This guy's come into your room and made you laugh. And he feels familiar to you because you've seen him again and again and again. But that's for actors and celebrities. When you deal with an actor or celebrity, you feel you know them, but you don't know anything about them. You know the character. You know Sam Malone, but you don't know Ted Danson. The nice thing for me is it's different for me because when I meet people who seem like they know me, I feel like I know them too. It's, I'm a Strata Lounger, I'm a member or whatever, and I just feel like, oh, of course you are. Good to see you. How you been? And these are people that I've been talking to, and that's what we do here. We just actually it's a one-way conversation, but it is a face-to-face talk. I'm not acting here or performing or anything. Anyway, that's that. Let's see.